shocking winning start, World Cup mania might just start spreading across the country, or at least in Virginia, and that's a good start. Elaine Quijano joins us now live from Arlington, Virginia, from one of the bars there where there was a bigger crowd this morning. I see a lot of people have filtered out.
That's exactly right. Good morning to you, Thomas. As I look around the place here at Summers Bar in Arlington, Virginia, it is a much smaller group than what we saw earlier today. But I tell you, bright and early this morning, it was a capacity crowd. More than 300 people packed the place to watch the United States win over Portugal 3-2 in the World Cup. The U.S. fan celebration spilled onto the streets outside Summers Bar and Restaurant in Northern Virginia. Though the action in South Korea and Japan was time zones away, U.S. fans got up early or stayed up late at Summers to support the team.
This is regular fire, you know. I mean, you got to dress like this, you know. You got to represent your country.
Even disappointed Portugal fans said there was still plenty of soccer to play.
And don't be surprised to see another U.S.-Portugal in the later rounds.
Here at Summers, the sleep-deprived staff sacrifices rest. Some working steady 6-hour shifts with only 2-hour breaks in between for sleep.
Well, it is a little tough, but coffee would take care of it.
For fans, adrenaline and a love of the game provide plenty of fuel.
It's the pace. It's sort of the elegance of the game.
Each goal is so important, you know. Each little shot, everything means so much. And this is the World Cup. This is once every 4 years. This is the World Series, Super Bowl, you know, NCAA championship, all combined into one. You know, and people, once they understand that, they tend to realize how important, you know, every little thing is, so they want to watch it.
And these folks certainly do want to watch it. This crowd here at Summers Bar and Restaurant in Northern Virginia, glued to the sets all morning. Right now, there are folks watching replays of the game that just happened between Germany and Ireland, which ended, by the way, in a tie, 1-1. Happy for these Irish fans. They say they weren't expecting that last-minute goal that tied it up. In any case, they here at Summers are expecting another capacity crowd here Monday morning. That is when the United States takes on South Korea. And they say in order to accommodate what they expect to be an overflow crowd, they may even put television sets out on the sidewalk. We're live in Arlington, Virginia. I'm Elaine Quijano. Thomas, back to you.
Hey, Elaine, we don't want to bust anybody on this, but did anybody mention how they got off work today to hang out there at Summers with you?
You know what? I was talking to some people about that. No one would admit to me that they might be playing hooky today. But I got to wonder, there's an awful lot of people out here downing the Guinness already. So I don't know what their story is.
Well, at least they were kind enough to grant you an interview. I'm surprised
That's
someone's
right.
just hiding under the table from the camera. Elaine, it's good to talk to you. Thanks very much. Well, on an entertainment note now.
With that as well? That's a regular question for customers at fast food restaurants, but some experts say you should think long and hard before you answer. As CNN's Elaine Quijano reports, supersized meals can lead to supersized waistlines.
Americans eat up the idea that more food for your dollar is better.
I was looking at their 20-piece chicken McNuggets.
And fast food chains offer plenty of meal deals.
That's great. I got 5 kids, so it works for me. A lot cheaper.
But by saving money now, you could wind up paying more in health costs in the long run, says the National Alliance for Nutrition and Activity. In a new report, the coalition of 225 health groups warns Americans are getting a lot more than they bargained for in unwanted calories and fat, leading to obesity and a host of related health problems that they say can be avoided.
We're talking about preventing early death, reducing health care costs, and reducing very serious disabilities that result from stroke, from heart disease, from diabetes.
For example, one of the many fast food chains offering meal deals is McDonald's. The report says going from a small size fries, small drink, and a quarter-pounder with cheese to a large quarter-pounder extra value meal there costs 8 cents less, but adds almost 500 extra calories. Another example for dessert, going from Cinnabon's mini bon to the regular classic size costs 48 cents more and adds 370 calories.
Researchers also found examples in convenience stores like these candy bars. The big one here costing an extra 33 cents more and adding some 230 extra calories.
Cinnabon officials suggest sticking with the mini bon if calories are a concern. Advice researchers second. They say don't be so quick to gobble down a good deal. Order smaller or half sizes or share with someone else. We've contacted McDonald's and as of yet have not received any official comment. Elaine Quijano, CNN, Washington.
Before we leave,
That's part of this beautiful naivety that the American team is embroiled in. They're not afraid of anybody.
And for a country that doesn't call the sport football like the rest of the world, just getting this far means earning a little respect among soccer elite.
We're just waking up to this sport, you know? This is Mount Everest in front of us now.
They can get over it. They've challenged the biggest mountains in front of them in Portugal, in Korea, in Mexico, and they kissed them off. So right now they're looking at another monumental challenge, and I believe that they will meet it head on.
He certainly is enthusiastic. Now, this is the very first time that RFK has opened up for World Cup action. They're not sure exactly how many people they'll get, but they did field about 1,000 calls yesterday. In any case, match time is 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We're live in Washington. I'm Elaine Quijano. Carol, back to you.
Oh, that's so exciting. I just want to read you a quote from somebody who played on the U.S. national team from '84 to '97. He said, "The world knows the American athlete is superior. Now it's only a matter of time before we develop the world's best soccer teams, the world's best players." And I have to believe, Elaine, that that's what they believe in Washington, D.C. too, with the coach there.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. There is so much confidence because the fact is no one expected them to get this far in the first place. They truly are the underdogs. And as you heard the coach of the DC United say, the Americans are not afraid of anybody at this point. They say bring them on. Doesn't matter that the Germans are bigger and maybe a little bit more experienced, a lot more experienced, and they have the better skills. Doesn't matter, says the coach of the DC United. Doesn't matter, say the folks who have turned out here. They say the Americans have the heart, have the passion, and have the drive to win today.
That's
Carol.
right. They got something to prove. Thank you, Elaine Quijano, reporting live for us from RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. The first spot in the world.
We all remember what happened at Salt Lake City with the Korean speed skater who was disqualified in favor of Apollo Anton Ono. Broadcast just began with the World Cup game. There are Koreans actually waving the American flag. Again, I am dumbfounded that again, over the next 90 minutes, U.S. soccer fans, they will be glued to TV sets from coast to coast. Again, one of the biggest gathering spots is Washington's RFK Stadium. That is where fans are cheering on the team as they watch the game on the giant screens. Right now, we go live where we join Elaine Quijano is there. And Elaine, looks like the fans are getting rowdy. They're ready, and they're ready to root the Americans on to victory.
Good morning to you, Ray. Well, you know, the action is taking place halfway around the world in South Korea, but take a look behind me. Thousands of fans have gathered here at RFK Stadium in the nation's capital to cheer on and support their team, to watch as the U.S. takes on Germany in the quarterfinals of the World Cup.
The fans began arriving at the crack of dawn, bearing flags and T-shirts supporting the U.S. team.
We've proven a point that we've made it so far, and I think we might have a chance of winning today.
The frenzy started in the game against Portugal, a powerhouse team that was expected to breeze by the United States. It didn't. Then a surprise tie against the host team, South Korea. And after a loss to Poland, the Americans came back in a big way, stunning soccer fans in a huge upset against Mexico.
The United States has beaten Mexico 2-0.
And now the Americans are facing the Germans. Three-time World Cup champions, they've got the experience and skill level that make them the favorites, at least on paper. Intimidating to some, but not to the U.S., say those in the know, like the head coach of Washington's professional soccer team, the DC United.
They're not frightened of Germany. That's part of this beautiful naivety that the American team is embroiled in. They're not afraid of anybody.
And for a country that doesn't even call the sport football like the rest of the world, just getting this far means earning a little respect among soccer's elite.
We're just waking up to this sport, you know? This is Mount Everest in front of us now. They can get over it. They've challenged the biggest mountains in front of them in Portugal, in Korea, in Mexico, and they kissed them off. So right now, they're looking at another monumental challenge, and I believe that they will meet it head on.
And you know, he is enthusiastic, and take a look, this crowd is enthusiastic. You know, this is the first time that RFK has ever opened up this stadium to allow fans to watch World Cup action on the big screen. They weren't sure what to expect, but just a few moments ago, we learned there are some 3,500 people here and counting. We still see people filtering into the stadium even as we speak. The game is continuing, and it looks like these fans are pumped up and ready to go. RFK officials here say this is a good turnout, considering they just made the decision to have this stadium open here just a few days ago. We're live in Washington. I'm Elaine Quijano. Ray, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Elaine. And folks, we do invite you to stay with us here on Headline News. We're going to have updates throughout the morning. Once the game is over, we hope to bring you highlights as well. Focus this morning continues to be overseas at the World Cup. Currently, that's where the U.S. and Germany are scoring off in the quarterfinals. For an update, we head live now to Washington, D.C., where Elaine Quijano has been keeping an eye on things, along with thousands of others at RFK Stadium. Elaine, what's the latest?
That's exactly right. Good morning to you, Ray. Well, as you said, even though the action is taking place halfway around the world in South Korea, thousands of fans, take a look, have turned out here at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. At last count, we are told just a few moments ago, there was something like 4,000 people and counting. We continue to see them stream in. They are decked out in their red, white, and blue. They have brought their flags, their T-shirts, their noisemakers. They are beating their drums. But I have to tell you, Ray, at one point, about 39 minutes into this game, when Germany scored that goal, there was a little bit of a hush that fell over the crowd here. And let's talk about that, Elisa. You are here from Virginia. You got here at 4:30 this morning to make sure you got a good seat to watch this game. What are you thinking now about the U.S.'s performance?
The U.S. is doing very well, but the Germany came back and scored one goal. But I still don't give up hope that we're going to tie up and go to penalty kicks.
You know, so much has been made about Germany having the experience, having the skill level, having the physicality. I mean, these are big guys going out there and just romping the United States. But you say not necessarily so.
We had the game the whole 39 minutes before they scored. We have it right now, right after halftime. We just have to get it in. There was a goal, but they didn't count it. I think the refs are just playing against us and are with Germany.
Now, is it amazing to you, though, that they've just gotten this far? You are a soccer fan, you said. And the fact that they breezed past Portugal, I don't know, breeze past is probably not the way to say it, but they managed to get by Portugal, managed to get by Mexico. What do you think about their chances of actually advancing now?
60-40, I say that we might be able to make it, and hopefully we will.
All right, still holding out hope here at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. As I said, 4,000 fans and still more pouring in, trying to remain optimistic. The score now, however, Germany 1, USA nothing. We're live. Now back to you, Ray.
All right, thank you very much, Elaine. The guy with the drums kind of giving me flashbacks here. Reminds me of the movie Major League. Anyway, switching to base.
Story about spies that are not shrouded in secrecy. We can tell you that the International Spy Museum opens in Washington tomorrow, and our own operative, Elaine Quijano, has already snooped around a little bit. She's back for a debriefing. Good morning. Did you bring any secret photographs for us?
Good morning. You know what? I do have them. We will be commissioned, and I'm going to show those to you in just a minute. But first, I can tell you, workers are putting on the finishing touches here at the International Spy Museum. There are some 200 on display, including this replica. Check this out. This, if it looks familiar, was in the 1964 film. We first saw this in Gold James Bond's famous, of course, Aston Martin. Now, this is a fictional vehicle, but there are dozens of other real-life spy devices at its peak. It's a glimpse into a secret world most of us have never known.
This is a chance to be a voyeur.
A world of disguise, of intrigue, kept mostly under wraps until now. Washington, D.C.'s $40 million International Spy Museum, the first public museum of its kind, uncovers some of the tools of the trade in the dangerous world of espionage. Items once thought to be the stuff of Hollywood now revealed as actual spy equipment. Bugging devices concealed in a picture frame, cameras small enough to wear on your wrist, and an actual .22 caliber single-shot pistol the size of a cigarette.
This should be an immersive experience, not something dry.
You can do your own snooping with hands-on exhibit unveiling spying techniques, allowing you to assume an identity or a cover as it's officially known, and taking you through Espionage 101. The museum also sheds light on the art of disguise.
What the intelligence community needs in terms of a disguise is something that goes on in 30 seconds, and that's something in theory that you can put on in a car with a mirror. It's something that you can take off just as easy.
All of it just a sneak peek into a world where everything is not as it seems.
And here now is a live look about 2 floors down where I am standing right now, a recreation of the Berlin Tunnel operation. The real project was actually completed in 1955. It was a way, or intended to be a way, for Americans to tap into underground Soviet phone lines. The Soviets found out, and the operation was not as successful as they had hoped. By the way, as the finishing touches are now being put into place and put on here at the Spy Museum, I can tell you that the official opening takes place tomorrow morning. They've got a whole
elaborate celebration planned. We saw a little bit of that yesterday, some folks rappelling down the side of the building here, so it's sure to be quite the show. We're live in Washington. I'm Elaine Quijano. Catherine, back to you.
Elaine, you know the spies have to escape in a daring fashion. Well, they
right.
look like Maxwell's smart shoe they had on display there. It was was it a phone in the shoe?
It was a heel transmitter. Apparently, this is the way the Soviets actually used technology. They would put this heel transmitter to listen in on events that were taking place. So it was a very clandestine way of getting some listening devices in, and it is something right out of Hollywood. It sounds like something Maxwell Smart, which certainly is.
All right, thank you, Elaine. Have fun at the museum.
I'd have to hurt you. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually a microphone, yes. And we're going to tell you here at the International Spy Museum are putting the finishing touches on some 200 exhibits, including interactive ones like this undersea surveillance recreation, if you will. But in addition to the fictional recreations like this, there are some actual real-life spy devices, and I got a sneak peek.
It's a glimpse into a secret world most of us have never known.
This is a chance to be a voyeur.
A world of disguise, of intrigue, kept mostly under wraps until now. DC's $40 million National Spy Museum, the first public museum of its kind, uncovers some of the tools of the trade in the dangerous world of espionage. Items once thought to be the stuff of Hollywood, now revealed as actual spy equipment. A device concealed in a picture frame, cameras small enough to wear on your wrist, and an actual .22 caliber single-shot pistol the size of a cigarette.
This should be an immersive experience, not something dry.
You can do your own snooping with hands-on exhibits, unveiling spying techniques, allowing you to assume identity, or cover, as it's officially known, taking you through Espionage 101.
Ready, set,
The museum also sheds light on the art of disguise.
What the intelligence community needs in terms of a disguise is something that goes on in 30 seconds, and that's something, in theory, that you put on in a car without a mirror, and something that you can take off just as easily.
All of it just a sneak peek into a world where everything is not as it seems.
And here now is a live look at another part of the Spy Museum. About 2 floors down where I'm standing right is a recreation of the Berlin Tunnel operation. Now, the real project itself was completed back in 1955. It was originally intended for the Americans to try and tap into underground Soviet phone lines. However, the Soviets found out about it. As you can imagine, the operation was not as successful as they had hoped. In any case, back here live on the 3rd floor, take a look at this, Thomas. This is an actual replica of 007's Aston Martin DB5. We can't get it working for you today, but I can tell you they've got all of the gadgets and gizmos here. The license plate actually flips over. With the many exhibits on display, and for the public, all of it will officially open tomorrow morning. We're live in Washington. I'm Elaine Quijano. Thomas, back to you.
Elaine, stuff, and I was dig James Bond music there. Elaine, thanks very much. Coming up, Judy Fortin has